Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today's card, I'm going to show you how to do the stenciling on the Frosted Forest bundle trees. This is a tall pine tree that I actually kind of made into more of an autumn tree. If you'll remember, I had posted these last week and I showed you with the two-tone green here and the stencily die that can go around this die cut part that comes from the Frosted Forest dies. Now I had some leftover DSP. If you'll remember that I made these changing leaves cascading, and I used all the different ink colors from the older ink colors, the Wild Wheat and Pebbled Path and the Copper Clay. And of course, when you're cutting off those edges there, as you can see, I like to keep my cards in our Stampin' Up cases. They're actually very tidy way to keep storage of things on your desk. But because I was cutting off strips of this, I had some leftover strips. And that's what gave me the idea to use them up on here. And these are really the deep colors. If you think of the new ink colors are so bright and cheery, and these are more steadfast, earth tone, grounded in color, in colors. So to make this, I was going to just show you how I did the measuring, because I think the measuring sometimes is the hardest part after coming up with the idea. So what I did on this card is, let's get these stencils out of the way and I will show you. These pieces were cut to something like 2 inches or something. And so what I did is I measured them out to see what they would be if they fit onto this Pebbled Path. I put the Pebbled Path color in the middle. I cut this down. All of them are cut to a height of 5 inches because the Pebbled Path is 5 1/4 by 4. So I needed to fit these on so that they had the same amount of space, 1, 2, 3, 4, which was 1/8. So I cut these down to, the middle one is 1 1/4, and these two on the edge on each side, left and right, are 1 1/8. So 1 1/8, 1 1/4, 1 1/8. And when I put these on, I tend to put on the, when I remember to do it, I put on the sides first. And there we go. And so then I'll get my border of 1/8 on the top bottom sides and then put this one on the other side. And then even if you're don't have the perfect amount in the middle, it just doesn't really matter. It's hard to see if the glue's going down there on the, with the lighting. Okay, so now of course that just gave me a thought too. You can also put these on right, okay, about the same amount. Make sure my eyes are seeing straight with those polka dots. You could also butt these up against each other too, but I liked, because these circles, it gave it a little bit of a separation there, so it doesn't look like you have to have it perfectly matching up there. So what I did is cut it down that way. I did use a white piece at first because it seemed like the circles were a white. As you can see, I'm kind of pushing with the glue. Just want to make sure I kind of have about the same amount on each side of my Pebble Path. That's 1 1/4 in the inside. And then those circles all seem to converge together, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. And so we can just pop that onto our copper clay card base, because I just thought that really made a nice look there. So I will just put a 1/8 inch border around that cardstock. And that cardstock was 11 inches long, 4 1/4 wide, and I scored it right here at 5 1/2. So that is the front of our card base. And then we're going to work on that focal point. Oh, but why don't we go ahead and do the inside? Because when I cut down my strips, I had these little leftover strips, and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be neat to mimic the inside to the outside? So I just put a little bit of glue along there, and I'm gonna just go with the wild wheat on that edge. And these ones are, excuse me, these are just strips that fell off, so you can just cut varying strips there. But they're 5 1/4 because my white is 4 by 5 1/4. And I just popped those right on there just because they were laying on my table, and I thought, why not? Use every scrap. No scrap left behind. There we go. Gives a pretty inside look. Oop, well, that really pulled for me good. Well, okay, get that gray pushed a little bit more towards the wild wheat. There we go. And then I just stamped birthday wishes for a day as great as you. I love the sentiments in this frosted forest. It's really got some great sentiments. Thinking of you as you strengthen my life. And then you could put birthday on the inside. No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart, excuse me. Thank you, or birthday wishes, or thinking of you. All of them really go well together. And I have another video to show you guys here soon of how you can use this set solely for Christmas. Okay, now we're gonna put this on the inside here. This is the card that I couldn't find the other day when I was gonna do 2 cards in one video. But then once my video was done, I realized I took like 20 minutes to make the one. So we're gonna pull back a piece of scratch paper now to do that focal point that's going to go under here. And then we're gonna put this great sentiment from that set. And I die cut this with the Changing Leaves sentiment die. I have it here. These great dies here in the Changing Leaves bundle with the hybrid embossing folder, and I used this long one. It was perfect. So I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to need the 3 stencils that come in the mask. So we have this one that has the trunk and then the 2 layers of the foliage here. Okay, that's what we're going to be here. But my Christmas card one uses these pines here, the traditional Christmas tree looking ones. So we're going to be using those in another video. Okay, so what I did first is, should have cleaned out my desk. Oh, I want to show you how pretty this turns out when it's just not even stamped. Look how pretty those are. I just almost like them without even being stamped. I just think they're beautiful that way and so easy. Boom, done. So this one was the first time I made one with the just fall autumn colors. And then since I had these colors cut already, I pulled them down into my little toolbox there. So let's put that aside and look here back at this one. We're going to do the tree and Pebbled Path. Then we're going to use wild wheat, and then we're going to add some of the copper clay on as our autumn accent. So what I did first is I just stamped myself a tree. Okay, when you come back with your first stencil, it has a little one that's etched into the plastic, but I put a number 1 on there just to label it for myself. Now what you can do here is secure your piece that you're sponging on. You can use sponge daubers, or I'm actually going to turn over to this side because I have some little arrows I've been, as you see, I've already used. You know what, it might be good. No. Yeah, here, I'll do it this way so you can see the arrows. Okay, so I'm going to put a little tape there just so I have it down. Then I really want you guys to be able to see this. So, okay, tape down. I'm going to line up my tree so that I can see just the image of that black outline of the tree. And I'm going to take that imaginary piece of tape that was on my finger. So make sure I'm back here at the tree. This really is so forgiving if you're off a little bit too. I'm going to tape that down. I'm going to use a blue pen here just so that you can see what I'm doing here. Now I have this on here. I'm going to make an arrow here. This one, so we know, because there's some other ones here. This one is going to just give me a guide for where. Now I have some older oval makeup brushes that I bought before we had the really great ones, which these work very well too. So I'm just going to get a little bit of my Pebbled Path on here, but I'm going to kind of get a little bit of it off because it is a dark color, and I'm just going to go over that stencil and get the tree trunk. Now always pay attention to where your stencil is cut, because some places are very intricate and you want to be very gentle. So there goes. Now since I have that piece taped down, I can see, look how beautiful that turned out. Now I can take this and I can tape it off to the side of my craft space, and I'm done with my Pebbled Path, so I'm going to. And I also will mark sometimes if I'm going to be using this one again, so I know that that is. And then I have some little cute little bags that I just close them up so that they don't, because one time coming back from class, I put all of my brushes into one bag when I was cleaning up, and then of course blue got onto yellow, got onto red, and it was just a mess. So I kind of try to keep them a little bit separate now. Okay, so the next one is number 2. Number 2, I'm going to line up this arrow here. Okay, for the most part, that helps me a lot to know where, and you can see it's almost perfectly lined up there, but sometimes you might have to pull it a little bit because I'm actually going around the image of the stamped image. Now, if you're not using a stamped image, you easily make your own. You just make your own outline, but you want it to, you know, be, if you want to cut it out, kind of get it a little bit close to where you think it would be. Okay, but you'll know you're in the right place because this part of the stencil covers up the trunk that you just did. And then I'm going to be using Wild Wheat because I thought that was more of the predominant color I'd like in my tree. Excuse me, I have a big arm going through there. I'm also, with my marked here, I'm going to get a little bit of ink on here. And these are, I'm going to bring it over there. And each one seems to come out different for me. Sometimes I have a heavy hand, sometimes I have a light hand. Sometimes I get what's called a swoosh across it because I start in the wrong place. But I love that this is so forgiving. Because see, I just got some dark there. So since I got that dark there, I'm going to put a little here. So you just, hey, that's what, instead of saying nature, I will say that's how God designed it. Because all of nature is his handiwork. And so I'm going to put that little guy back in there. And then I'm going to accent with number 3. Pull this off. This is still taped down here from the initial time. I'm going to tape this little guy there and hope that I don't rub my white pants. My stampers always used to joke and say, "You're so brave wearing white with to class." And I'm like, I know. But most of our colors, unless you're using black, are watercolor, and I have got them out. But I'm just one of those people that loves to wear white. And in Florida, that's perfect. Okay, no rules for after Labor Day, don't wear white. Haha. So you notice that I am putting up in this little arrow here. You'll see there's a little edge down here and a little bit up here that comes out of the image that you're putting another layer onto, and I do believe that that is supposed to be like that. We're using copper clay this time. Getting my other little blend out, getting some ink on there, getting a little bit of it off, and then I'm just going over there. And the nice thing about it is, like, when you're doing this, you actually think, oh no, I'm not doing it right. And it just, oh my gosh, these stencils are so amazing for, I wish every stamp set had stencils. They're so easy to color. No lining up images with another stamp. Oh, they're just so awesome. Okay, Cindy, don't forget to put these away because otherwise you're gonna get it on somewhere. Now look at this amazing, is that gorgeous or what? Ah, I love these stencils. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna show you what I do is another little trick that helps me when I'm stamping is I make myself a little mask. You can certainly put the die, which is right here. You can line up your die, but sometimes I have a little bit of issues. I'll put it and it looks like it's absolutely perfect, and then I get a little more white on this side, a little more white. And I know those are some of the issues I have to live with my personality. But I will just make a little mask. And when I see that I have the white where I want it to be, I just get out some, and this time I don't even mind. I can just use my, now let me pop it when I moved it. So see, I'm trying to get an equal amount of white around the tree. Then I'll just tape it down, and then I'll put the die. Now I'm gonna have to lift this up here. Where is my Hokey Pokey McSmokey? Where's my poker poke? I just had it. Okay, let's see if this die can do double duty, as Alton Brown used to say, unitasker. Okay, so I've got that pulled up. I'm just gonna rub that, put that back there. Now I will take my die, and it's okay if they're looking a little warped, just like kind of gently put them into place. Then I'll put my die into that. I know this seems like a lot, but doesn't it sometimes frustrate you after you did something like you? Now this is highlighter tape. People use it to highlight in textbooks that they want to resell. So it's removable. So I just put that around that. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna let you look at this pretty card here. I'm gonna run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine over here. And here we go. It's funny, as I have it on my little tool, my caddy, and if you could see me right now. Okay, come on, get rolling. There we go. Because it has wheels on it, and when I push the wheels, the whole cart moves, so it doesn't cooperate with me. I love when you watch all those Facebook reels and everything of people rolling their pieces. And I think, oh my gosh, I can't do that. Now see, I like the white that, I might have had a little bit more white down here, but the thing that my eye really went to was the tree trunk. And then I can save this, and notice I did two different colors here. I used white and vanilla because they're both a thinner cardstock. I have put a dark cardstock on this, and sometimes the dark cardstock pushing against the die gets a little bit of that dark cardstock onto the white, and it's just a little fiddly for me, so I just don't do that. I'll use the two differences between the white and vanilla, and it makes it easier, but you could use white and white. So where is the card we were working on? Here it is. Okay, so we are going to pop this up off the middle of our card with a dimensionals. Oh my gosh, what would we do without these buggers? Remember back in the day when we all were red rubber, everything was red rubber, and you would save all those little pieces of red rubber when you would mount your stamps and use them as your dimensionals? Did you ever do that? I did that. I actually found a whole box the other day of little pieces of red rubber that I did that with. So I'm going to put some of these end dimensionals here on. Yes, and I should be using the scissors that I only get glue on. And I'm going to put that right on the trunk. Okay, pull off. It's always a good idea to see if it has equal amount of height before you actually glue it, adhere it down with that, taking off these little protective things that, you know, they say like years from now they're going to dig up the skeleton and know that it was a, you know, an animal, or it was a woman by the bone structure, da 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 da. Well, years from now they're going to be still picking up pieces of dimensional in my house, off of my shoes, in my purse, in my bed when I step on them and crawl into bed. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere. Okay, one more piece of dimensional here. I need a big chunky one. Do I have any? No, you know what? I am literally down to like 12 of these open like this. So I'm just gonna go with it. My mama always used to say, use what you have. And I wish I could remember the one saying she had, like, use it up. I'll have to ask my dad. Use it up, something, something. And was a cute little saying. You know, those things that you just want to pick up the phone and call your mom and ask her. And I just was thinking, my mom was a nurse, and so am I, and in a previous life, and my daughter. And my dad is selling their place in Florida, so I've been cleaning it out for them, and I found her nursing picture. Sometime I'm just gonna have to show you the comparison between my mom and myself. And so I have it on my steps, coming up the steps, because I haven't figured out where I want to put it, because I want to put grandma, mom, and my daughter, our 3 nursing pictures together. And it's just really funny after your mom's gone how you can't ask her those questions anymore. Thinking of her, she really did strengthen my life, as I'm sure all of you guys feel about your moms too. So, how we got off on that tangent there. But I do want to dedicate this to my mom. And so this pretty card shows you that you can use the stripes or the polka dots, and use a fun palette of the earth tone colors to make this pretty card using these stencils. Look how, I mean, I just can't believe how fun these are and how easy this one would be. You don't even have to like do any stamping on it. It's just stenciling in. It's so pretty. So definitely take a look at that Frosted Forest bundle. I have a video coming up how I make 2 really fun Christmas cards using the stamps and the stencil and the dies that come in this bundle. So thanks for buzzing by, friends.